Pakistan has gone through a very turbulent period in the last 2 years where you have a very high inflation, perhaps the highest in the country's history, and a negative growth rate last year. Due to the external factors such as global commodity super cycle coinciding with the Ukraine war, and the internal factor as there were a so-called political compulsion by successive governments which hampered them to take the right decisions. Having said that, the worst is behind us now. The country is now moving towards a stabilization phase. Inflation has peaked, and both global and domestic factors are converging towards a stability phase. The global commodity prices are going down and are expected to remain low. And after the coming elections, there's going to be some kind of a political stability in the country, and we expect a new IMF program to come, which is to be followed by a relatively relaxed standby facility, which caretakers are managing it well. So the next year, the inflation going to come down from the last calendar year of 31% to around 17%. IMF expects June and inflation at 18.5%. So interest rates are likely to come down. That bodes well for organizations which are leveraged. However, the domestic demand is hard to manage. One unsaid policy that's been run by during 22, 23 and to be continued in 24 is about managing zero current account policy. It was earlier managed by the State Bank, and now banks are being asked to manage inflows and outflows. And we have to assume that because the external liabilities are very high, if we include the current account deficit projected by the IMF, it comes close to $90 billion for the next 3 years. And if we take out the current account deficit and duplication of the rollovers, it comes around 45-50 billion. So the whole effort would be to manage on this 45-50 billion in the next 3 years, and we have to live without current account deficit. And without current account deficit, a healthy current account deficit 2 to 3% will remain in a low growth period. So unfortunately, the country is trapped into low growth period until FDI to come in productive sectors. Thank you.